I started this series to create a list of must-play games, as there's so many games and so little time. But one game has been recommended time and time again for me to look at by friends and family. It's not a AAA title, or a blockbuster style game with millions in budget or advertising. It's a game made by an independent studio, which seems to have been a labour of love in its creation. So, I'm excited to get stuck in. So today, we're looking at Limbo. Limbo is a side-scrolling puzzle game with a very unique style. It's entirely in black and white, which adds a juxtaposition of both eerie and beautiful. You feel like you're walking through a place that is gorgeous, and will most probably kill you quick. The story of why you are here is open-ended, and allows for a lot of personal interpretation. I like it in books or films when not all the questions are answered. It adds depth and mystery to a world and allows your imagination to fill in the gaps. But if you need concrete closure, you're not going to get it. But what we are sure of is that you play a nameless boy who's traversing a dark world of rotting forests, decrepit cities, and fantastical factories in search of his sister. As with most side-scrollers, your job is to constantly advance, but there are constant dangers to avoid, like angry locals with blowpipes and weapons, and a very creepy giant spider. I hate everything about this thing, and it chases you constantly. It's like you're a kebab, and he's an off-the-wagon vegetarian. And that's the great thing about this game. It's not always a puzzle in the traditional sense. Time-based puzzles, weight puzzles, chase sequences with specific inputs, gravity puzzles. No two puzzles are the same, and you feel like you're conquering an obstacle with every one you pass. But don't get me wrong, some puzzles in this game had me pulling my teeth out, especially near the end. But you're given everything you need to pass, so it was just my own fault for not taking a step back and observing what to do next. There's no elf in the game. Anything that can kill you most probably will. It's all about avoidance and thinking outside the box to deal with these imminent threats. Luring enemies into traps or simply outrunning them in some cases, especially if it's that hairy sex offender of a spider. Don't interact with it, just scatter. Bet he's got a van with a mattress in the back as well. If you can't tell yet, I hate spiders. There are plenty of quick saves, so even if you meet an untimely end, you respawn very close and you don't lose any momentum. Some puzzles are time-based jumps, so being able to come back quickly will stop you getting too frustrated. There are some amazing environments in this, and they all feel connected and alive. The areas evolve as you travel through them. There's a theory that it could represent the boy's life, starting off in the forest of his youth, and then advancing to the big city as he grows older, and then finally ending up in employment in the factories. But like I mentioned earlier, it's all up to interpretation. So for all we know, he's going to meet his sister to move a rather large couch up a set of stairs. So don't worry about it too much. Now, when you're standing in the forest, you can hear the wind blowing through the trees. Or when in a cave, there's this long one tone which adds to the eeriness. The factory has echoing machines in the distance slamming and grinding, which adds to the fact that you're a child wandering into some areas that you shouldn't. There's a moment when an ancient machine creates a rainstorm, and I love the sound of rain, so it was genuinely an amazing calming moment. Now, Limbo, it's won awards like Best Game, Best Puzzle Game, Best Platformer, Best Downloadable Game. So it's got some achievements under its belt, and very well loved by the community. And you can see why. The charming art design, the tight and responsive controls, and the challenging puzzles, it's a delight to play. If we had one criticism, it would be that it's very short and can be completed in one sitting if you've got 2 to 3 hours. You get all set up to play and it's over before you know it. I wouldn't be so passionate about it if it wasn't so well made, and it doesn't have any of that modern padding that I hate. But my homemade chili con carne takes longer to cook in the oven. If you want the recipe, just leave me a comment. It's very popular. And a word of advice, I always say this about puzzle games, but never ever look up the answers to a puzzle you're struggling on, as it's very satisfying to have that eureka moment and push forward. If you look it up, you still feel defeated even though you're advancing in the game. This game is worth a play. It's with this I strongly recommend that this game gets high priority in your collection. I've seen this game going cheap on a lot of sales or PSN or Steam, so if you see it going cheap, grab it. You will not regret it. The experience of this game is a very satisfying one. Thank you very much for watching my Limbo review today. If you like what you saw, please give it a like. I publish new videos every Friday, and if you want to see more, please subscribe and ring that bell to let you know when new videos are available. So I'll see you next week.